hi. Apparently you're feeling either lost or anxious or something, or curious. Maybe you're just curious. Everybody wants to sell you something. I just want to sell you on watching this video. Nothing more, nothing more, nothing more. I'll tell you why. Nature heals. It does. I'm not kidding you. I have lots of background in this. I've been a counselor for 40 years. I have a PhD in special education. I've had that for almost 30 years. I've taught special education. I've been a minister for 37 years. I have worked online a lot with people who have drug and alcohol issues or have been incarcerated. I started working with incarcerated people through letters when I was only in my teens. And as a minister, I've worked in prisons for years. And even prisons know this. If you don't let the prisoner outside, even in a cage, I've worked with prisoners where we're in a space that was about 2 meters, 6 feet by 15. And it was just a really high chain link fence cage. But it was outside. And that's really, really, really important. I don't know if you know this, but ADHD, which is attention deficit disorder, is horribly aggravated by your little fluorescent lights that go like this, and lots of anything else. A white sheet of paper can make them crazy. If you lay something pink or soft blue or translucent, something they can see through to cut the color down. There's just so many things. You know why? It's so simple and it's free. Well, that depends on where you live, but it's in general, going outdoors just takes time, not money. It's not about going to a professional therapist and having a conversation and deeping dive into your psyche and having this like this where your psyche is going up and down and up. It's so hard. They talk about things that have occurred and issues with family members or friends, and it's just hard. I mean, therapy is really important, but it's also really hard. The wonderful thing about nature, and if you want to know how much it affects children, read the book, The Last Child in the Woods by Richard Louv, Louv. It's an odd way of spelling it, but that's his name, The Last Child in the Woods. I even put it in my dissertation because although he doesn't have a doctorate, he has many references to people with doctorates, and that's what dissertation folks are looking for, is that affirmation that a peer-reviewed group of people or people who've been tagged as experts have come together and made the decision. Well, I tell you what, you can make the decision on your own. Nature is non-judgmental. There's nothing out there that's judging you. Now, you may get wet. You might get blown a little bit. You may come up on a hailstorm. I mean, I don't know where you are or when you are. It may be snowing where you are now. And it really doesn't matter. Put clothes on. Get an umbrella. Have some snow boots. Whatever it takes, just get outside. I am telling you countless times, get outside. Now, have you ever noticed? Children would rather play outside. Children only are taken with televisions and iPads and all these different games that are put on little electronic things if they're encouraged to do that. But if they're allowed to be kids, they go outside. I did some research on children in war-torn countries where they are kept indoors, and it's really negative. I mean, all they want to do is go outdoors. They just want to get outside. There is so much about the beautiful world that we live in. I mean, look behind me. There's those gorgeous mountains, and there's clouds, and there's fog, and it's early in the morning, and the sun is breaking through around another mountain, and the lights are going off in people's homes, and the roads over here, people are starting to travel because it's nearly 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's just so hard to explain to someone who doesn't do it. Take off your shoes, sit down by a tree, take off your shoes, and just let the bottoms of your feet touch the grass or a flower or the soil. It's not easy to understand, but it's so true. There's been so much evidence that just getting away from man-made noises. You say, you hear my chickens? My chickens are giving me all kinds of volume here because I haven't fed them yet. They're going, Mom, get over here. See where those sunflowers are? That's where the chickens are. And they're over there just having a fit. That's what you'll hear if you go outside. You'll hear birds, mostly. You may not, depending on the time of the year or whether there's a storm coming, but I hear birds all the time. One of the things that I was surprised to learn is I have something called hyperkinesis. It's when man-made noises just are so tremendously annoying, and my ears are fine, but the space from my ears to my brain has been damaged by rheumatic fever. The high temperatures, would go from 0 to 106 in 10, 15 minutes when the fever would hit. It was a long, awful process when I was 5 until I was 9 years old. But I learned that, and I have a 90% loss of hearing if I am in a classroom or something. It was terrible for me when I was teaching school because the desks are moving all the time and the kids are moving all the time, and it's really hard to hear, and it's really hard to get hearing aids for the problem, because the problem isn't my ears, it's my brain getting the message from the ears. It's really weird. But anyway, the fact of the matter is I can hear very soft sounds from nature. It's truly amazing. But put me in an environment where it's all man-made sounds and I'm deaf. I'm deaf. It's crazy. But if you think about it, I mean, especially if you experiment. I mean, here I am. It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm on a rented farm in the country of Ecuador, in the larger space of South America. You can look it up on a map. It's south, really. It's south of the U.S. And it's quiet. It's quiet because, I just heard a rooster. Because this is farming area. That's why I live here. I worked really hard all my life I've lived in a trailer a lot just so that I could pull it someplace and get out of the noise. Living in the city is very draining. It pulls on you. You hear the buses and the motorcycles and the cars and the trucks and the sirens and the bouncing of sound off the walls and of the buildings and of the streets and the screeching and the noise of people. There's just, until you have put yourself outdoors without noise, it's really hard to appreciate how much you're being bombarded by a wide variety of sounds. And all of those aren't a part of how we were put together in the first place. I mean, we were first in caves and foraging for food, and then we began to domesticate food. And the real issue is when we came up with money, because too many people put that as more important than peace. Peace, peace and quiet, a sense of calmness is what you get when you go out into nature. I mean, really into nature. I was shocked. I have to tell you, I was shocked. It's been several years ago, probably over 20. I was in Central Park in New York, and I was absolutely stunned at how refreshing and healing it felt. I mean, it's big for one thing, and people aren't taking advantage of it like they should. I mean, there's a bazillion people there, and you see almost nobody in the park, except kids. I saw a lot of kids. But then I had this wonderful opportunity to be with a math teacher for a few days when I was promoting my book in Central Park. And I mean, in New York City, but her house was near Central Park. And the gardens, the local gardens, people understood. I was in a Latin area, and she was Latin. I love Latins. They're so much closer to the earth than so many of our cultures, especially actually my growing up was not like that, because my father was, and he had been an organic farmer when I was born in Roswell, New Mexico. Yes, 1947. Yes, I was this little alien. And when we went to all the different military bases, he always liked to camp and save the money that they were giving us for hotels and so forth. And he always taught me about everything that was around, whatever was different about wherever we were. And the whole idea was that we were always supposed to make sure there was no evidence that we had been there the night before. It was usually on the side of the road. I mean, this was a long time ago. This was a time when you could do that sort of thing. You can't do it anymore. I mean, it's sad, but you just can't do it anymore. We had an umbrella tent. We'd set it up, and we'd eat, and we'd go to bed. And we never, ever, ever had a problem. Nobody ever tried to rob us or run into us or nothing, ever. And we did that for at least 2 solid years. And there were times after that, intermittently, but for 2 solid years, we traveled with a tent. And I look back and I realize how much was dysfunctional about my family. And I when I compare it to other people and the dysfunctionals that they've had and how it's affected them, and how I've been preserved from so much of that. And I'm sure it was nature that did it. I mean, other people I know would have stayed in a hotel. I know the other people in the sacrifueling team stayed in hotels. They didn't. We were the only person who camped. And of course, I got lessons from my father every time we were camping. So, and we also camped every time we went on vacation. So I had a lot of experience. My father was an avid fisherman. I mean, he just adored fishing. And so fishing is outside in nature, and fishing is not judgmental. And it was a wonderful opportunity, because the air base realized that it was $2 to rent a boat and $4 if you wanted a motor. I mean, it was just crazy. We were able to have a fabulous time together on the water in nature. So I really want you to understand that the experts, I'm not telling you I'm an expert. Some of the other people would say I am because I have a doctorate and a lot of experience, but I have not specifically sat down and studied the relationship between a person walking around in nature and healing. I've only done it from what I've seen and what I know and what people tell me when they say, you know, you were right. I feel so much better. And that sort of thing. I did indeed ask to do my dissertation on outdoor education. So I have done a lot of work, but I haven't done my own individual academic studies. I've just read other people's. And they all say nature heals. You're stressed. I mean, the whole concept of sitting under a tree and getting hit in the head by an apple is really a great idea. I mean, the ingredients in an apple will fill 2 pages, single spaced, of typing. I mean, an apple is really good for you, but so is a lot of other fruit. So many things outdoors. I swear, I think one of the reasons that my husband is 85 when statistics said he should be gone at 58 is because we eat fresh fruit and vegetables every day. Organic, fresh fruit and vegetables. That's why we lived here, so he could have organic, fresh food and the vegetables that we could afford to pay for. And he could breathe. Couldn't breathe in the States, which is really a problem. We all need to breathe. But you can give the greatest gift to your child, your grandchildren, or friends' children by just taking them out in the woods. Any natural environment, even in a park. Not as likely in a park, but if you watch, you might see a bee, you might see a ladybug, you might see a butterfly or a moth. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to really intensely focus yourself in and see if you can see a bird or a turtle or a squirrel. I mean, small things like that, a gecko. God, I love geckos. They're so cool. I used to always keep a gecko in my windowsill at home. And, because I always have my windows open. I live now with my doors open, always the front and back door open. Unless I'm in bed, sleep, they're wide open because I want to connect. Even when I'm on my computer in the house, I still want to be a part of what's outdoors. I don't want to separate myself from that. The only place we eat is out on the patio. Of course, the climate here is very mild, and that's not a big issue. But the fact of the matter is, I feel very, very strongly that the more exposure we have to the out of doors, the better off both of us are. And we're old farts. You know, take the little ones out. You know, the biggest issue, if you're afraid of it, you don't take care of it. If you're afraid of it, you don't respect it. What do you think is going on with the fact that there's been all these years? 1962, Rachel Carson said, we are screwing up our environment. There's too much DDT and it's killing the birds. I mean, my father went, I went, oh my God, my dad was right. He was right. I was shocked. I was so shocked that my father was right, but he was. And if you fear nature, you won't take care of it or respect it. And that's a fact. And so many times we've said, oh, it's a swimming pool, put a fence around it. Oh, it's your neighbors, you know, put the line right on it, cut yourself out from people. No, we don't have time to go to the park. You've got dance class, or you've got Spanish class, or you're off to learn piano. Well, all those things are wonderful. There's no question about exposing your kids to that. But what you really, really, really have to expose them to is nature. Because then they will form an appreciation, respect, and understand the adaptation that we're all going to have to continue to take because of climate change. And climate change is because we didn't stay in the cave. We came out. And most of us don't do very many things. I mean, there's so many things you can wash your own dishes instead of using a dishwasher. You can hang your clothes on the line instead of putting them in a dryer. You can recycle things. There are just so many options that we have to cut down just a little bit in what's going on so that the next tornado is just a little bit smaller, or flood or hurricane or whatever. And when you teach kids about that, they will pay attention. They don't listen as much to what you say, but they do what you do. If you take them out in the woods, you'll hook them. Believe me, you'll hook them. And they'll be hooked for life. And it'll make a huge difference. It's the greatest gift you can do. Take the kids outdoors. Anybody's kids. They'll be so happy you did. You will be a hero. Just like that. A hero. Believe me. Okay, if you have any questions, put them down. As soon as I figure out how to find them, I'll find them and I will answer. And if you want to talk to me on Zoom, if you have anything that is going on in your life that you'd like to have me research, or point you in a different direction on what I found or whatever, it's fine. I'd be happy to do it. Thank you so much for listening.